Okay, hey everybody. Um, Welcome back to Aligning with Success. It is October 23rd. Can you believe it that this year just kind of zipped by? It feels like I was saying this not, welcome to the new year, not that long ago, and here we are nearing the end of the year. It's incredible. Okay. So much is going on right now. With Niken, with excitement, with changes, all positive, everything moving in the right direction. Of course, everything always has hiccups. So if you're getting some hiccups with respect to Niken, back office and so forth, just hang in there. Believe me, you're not alone. And whenever any one of us gets one of those hiccups, we immediately get it onto the table with Frank at Niken. So they do have those concerns, and they work toward resolving them. Just a show of hands here, how many of you have gone into your back office and looked at We Start, the new basic training for people getting started in Niken? Okay, good, because I want to just kind of go over a few things tonight to brush up on, so you have some clear, concise paths for people as you enroll them. Wellness home specialists, you have a question? I guess not. Okay. All right. So first of all, the last few Zoom calls that we've done here were really all about acknowledging the huge impact that We Accelerate can have on your business, that Niken has launched in the month of October and will continue through 2024. The We Accelerate program, essentially doubling your income for the enrollment,
40%.
for enrolling new people. So it's super exciting, super exciting. I don't want to reiterate something I have already for the last 3 or 4 weeks because of how excited I was when I was first introduced to the notion. But what has happened since is that really galvanized a strategy for leaders in Niken. The group of us who have been leading the field, known as the Niken Field Leadership Team, the NFL team, no pun intended. I should have said no punt intended. Anyway, it's not the NFL as in football, but it's the Niken Field Leadership Team. And in that team, there's a group that came together on behalf of the NFL to work with Niken. And we've met, I think it's over 30 meetings already that we've had on Zoom over the weeks that we've been doing this. And so many of the things that you're seeing are as a direct consequence of that interaction. And it continues tomorrow at 2:00, our next meeting with our CEO. And anyway, so what has come from that, where we're concerned in terms of direct input, is the 18 Karat Gold program, 18 Karat Gold Accelerator program. And on Thursday evening, this past Thursday, we had our first call. And on that call, Jeannie, you had a guest. And so if you don't mind, I'd like to kind of maybe bring you into this call and share with the group what has been your experience so far, limited as yet, but of what it means to participate in this 18 Karat Gold program.
Wow. Yes. I have a lot of thoughts. So I've been thinking about writing them down somewhere, but it's been so amazing for me. And Sharon is really excited. But what I'm learning is like all the stuff that it's like a lot of things are just coming together. A lot of the things that I've heard, and I haven't been I haven't used ABCs like I need to. I see the reason why. It's just like it all came crashing in like, oh, well, it's like that was easy. I mean, it's like, anyway. So I was very honored to be there. when you asked me to introduce everybody, I was like, oh boy. And so I would like to, I need to know a little more about and remember. So when I introduce people to each other, there's just so many things that I am learning. And I'm very humbled by the experience too. When I was the only one there with my friend Sharon, I was like, I had no clue who was going to be there or whatever, but I was like, oh wow, this is like very special. Um, I, I am seeing again, like just with the presentation that you did, how I really would love to learn how to do that. So there's things that I need more to learn also with that. But it resulted in I have a senior now. So she's excited. She's putting together some things to do, and we're going to work together. And then also, the other thing I realized is that I need to be a partner also and have a sponsor and work with my list and do the 3 to 5 calls a day and do that so I can experience that piece of it too, because I don't know that I've ever done that for 30 days, to do a launch. So,
Fantastic. That's great.
mm,
And it's good feedback. I tell you, um, you know, we are rekindling for some of you old experiences anew, and for some of you who've never gone through this experience, what it even means. Until it's applied, it's just theory, and it's when it's applied that it gets into your consciousness at a deeper level. I remember over the years when I would be in front of an audience, I found myself in front of an audience day one because I was the leader of the tribe, so to speak, launching in Canada. And so I was the one who had to be in front of the audience and blab as much as I could with whatever I'd learned that day. So being in front of the group, when it came to training people, that's when I actually comprehended what I was training. It was in trying to communicate what it was that I was doing that made it become further aware in my mind as to what it was. I don't know if you're getting me. It's like, you're teaching somebody how to make a dish or tomato sauce, and you got it in writing and you know what it's like, but when you actually do it, then all of a sudden there's a certain element that you now have that you didn't have before. It was just paper and words, but now that you've actually experienced it and every nuance to the point where you're tasting and all that stuff that goes into it, when you then go to explain to somebody how to do the sauce, you're not just simply reading the recipe. You're articulating ideas and thoughts and creating images and so forth that you didn't have from those words on that page. It was from your personal experience. And so when you become a trainer of the information, when you start teaching what you're learning, that's when it really starts to sink in what it was that you were learning. And by the way, Jeannie, that presentation, the commitment to that presentation is for Thursday night. That presentation is the what conversation. And because that presentation is still in development, every presentation that we do on Thursday night, henceforth, including last Thursday, I get notes, feedback afterwards from the attendees, and I make modifications, because what I really want this presentation to do for you is give somebody a window into the business of Nikken, what it really looks like and feels like to run a Nikken business, and those nuances, so that when they make a decision to get started, it's a real decision. It's an honest decision. And then their choice as to, for instance, you said you've got a new senior. We were on a call today, her first training call with me today. And Sharon said she was way ahead of me. She had already purchased the energy pack and the sport bottle, and she had her reasons. She already knew why she was doing that, purchasing that. So obviously the information process is working when not only does she make a good decision where her business is concerned, but she has an understanding of why she's made that decision. Now, what'll be even more interesting is when she enrolls her first consultant, and she goes to explain that part of it, she's going to have a real great explanation for it. And she might even come to some realizations herself. She might actually realize, shoot, I should have probably gotten 2 packs. So that's what happens. And so, but back to that presentation. Once I'm comfortable that that presentation is where it needs to be, maybe a couple more weeks, then I hope to record it, do a session where we just simply record it. And then you'll have that recording, and I'll make the PowerPoint or the PDF available as a presentation that you can use on your own if you wish, or follow along, with the recording. The idea here is not to make you guys expert presenters. I'm really good at it because I'm the author of it and I know what I'm talking about, and I've done these launches, very successfully. So it's not about you becoming an expert presenter, but it really helps for you to even attempt to present the information because you learn it. You start to acquire the understanding of it. And then, of course, to have it on video means you can just simply pass it on to your new contact and say, here's the next step. Because what I'd like the Thursday meeting to be more is interactive. Not so much of a presentation, but more of an interaction about what they may have seen or related to in the presentation, or create some highlights. So let's say they haven't watched the presentation. We know we have it in the can. We can just send them the link and we can say, look, there's some highlights that we'd like to focus you on while we have you. And you can ask some questions about that. So the Thursday night will be more of an ABC, really powerful ABC call to help them with the business decision and some of the nuances of the business. But in the meantime, right now, that call is a presentation of what I refer to as the what conversation. And it gets into sort of the 50,000-foot view of what is Niken as a business, and how do I engage in Niken as a business? What are my options, and what does that look like? And hopefully when they come away from a call like that, the choice of good, better, best in terms of an investment in the products should be very obvious. And so it will have done its job if someone comes away from that presentation not knowing everything, but knowing enough to know that if they're going to step into the business, they really need to step into the products in a big way. That's really the emphasis of that, as well, the emphasis on the list, and then the investment of time as illustrated as to what is it that we do with our time in Niken. And I want to touch on that tonight, actually. What is it that we do with our time in Niken? So thank you for sharing that, Jeannie. Did anybody else have a success this past week with respect to sponsoring that they want to share? I think, Leo, actually, you were on a call earlier. Why don't you share your story?
Hi, guys. Okay. So it's a time to practice my English. Thank you so much, Mike, again. Okay. I just said to Mike hours ago, 10 years ago, I was in a restaurant here for breakfast and nobody there. It's a big store, I would say that store. Many snow. Nobody present to my meeting for business. So I'm along with the waitress and I do a demo to the waitress. And just me and her. After the meeting, I said, can you introduce someone? I said, oh, my father. Of course, I met the father day after. I made a demo. I had a lot of fun, but he worked 70 hours a week. No time for business, but he bought some Magflex bottle and so etc. And I forget it. I never have any news about him. Till Friday. Friday, I'm in the coffee shop and I said, hey, God, I'm ready for another one. Business builder. I realized that on the coffee. Hour later, I received an email from that guy. He said, Leo, call me. Okay, I call him. What's happened? Are you still in Niken? Of course, I'm still. I want to meet you. I need Niken. I need a business. Come to home. I moved to play hour and a half. I meet him in the home. I explain the business, and he bought for 1,019 point. He's become this executive from the first night. And I just want curious. I'm counted. That's what I said to Mike. With the we accelerate is my first one. Okay, is 1,790 point, but for that in CV is 1,434 Canadian, and I began with 20%, 15 and 10 because you change. I make an average for 15%, $215.10 normally, but with the we and accelerate, I gotta receive 286 more for a total of 500 for 2 hours work. Not too bad. Not too bad, eh?
Not too bad at all.
And this guy is so excited, he want to do the same thing right away.
Okay, let me recap because this is important. So his initial order was 1,790 points.
Yes.
And the reason he purchased those products and advanced all the way to executive as well in the process,
Yeah.
he purchased those products because why?
He wanted to do a business, and he trusts me. He said, "You my coach. Say to me what I have to do. I have no time to waste. I have 60 years old. My body is he can't work anymore anyway. I'm broke. No money to wait for me. I need the money. 10 years before, he make a lot of money and he worked very hard. But 10 years after, his life is changed. You see, he said, good timing for me. Show me the money. Show me how to do. And that's it. And he can wait to meet Mike in 18 November to Laval. He just trust me. I said, I opened my laptop. I said, you need that, you need that. He said, okay, it's okay. He gave my credit card, put it on the table. Are you agree? That's fine. That's it.
Okay, good. Simple, effective. And if the individual is really genuine and hungry, and by the way, Leo, there's nothing better than sponsoring somebody who had a lot of money and time or success and doesn't now, but wants it back. That's the best of the best because they're hungry, because they know what it tastes like. You're not dealing with their psychology of wondering whether or not they're deserving or whether they're worth it or all that other stuff that goes with somebody who's not really had it. They already got that. Now they just want the job. Let's get the job done. So they're much more focused on tell me what I need to do, what's the right steps, and that's awesome. So first order, they're already an executive, and one of the caveats here was the compensation plan prior to this month would have paid you $215 for that activity, except this month is closer to $500 with an additional $286. The We Accelerate is paying you more than what the compensation plan would have paid you in the past. So it's more than double what you would have earned. Okay, guys, that's a real life example of how this We Accelerate is working for you. So, and like you said, and one of the things is you showed him the money, and now he's like, okay, I want to do that. And so we have no shame in showing people there's money to be made in doing this business, and more so today than ever before. We've never had this type of a promotion. And right now it looks like it's not just a promotion, it's all through 2024. So I would be focused on really, really thinking about who do I know who wants more out of life, who wants an opportunity to not just have some extra income, but maybe have a career opportunity. Because I really think Nikan's a career possibility. And what a person can do in 90 days with Nikan is change their life. What they can do with a year in 90 days is change many lives. So let's look for some people who want to make a difference. And in doing so, make a difference for themselves and their family. Cool. Excellent. Okay, so one of the calls that I had earlier tonight, and I said I was going to get back to the what's the day-to-day type thing, but let me start with two very, very, very important things. I don't know that I've discussed this in the past, so this may be new or a reflection of stuff that we've talked about, but packaged a little differently. There are two things that are necessary in order for a network marketing business to thrive, to grow, to replicate, for people to duplicate en masse, for there to be exponential or viral growth. There's two things that absolutely have to happen. If they don't happen, there's no chance in hell of your business to go and grow virally. And it takes a team to make it happen. It takes the group activity to actually make this come to life. First thing you need is a system. You've got to have a system. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It could be, this is what we do to get you started. That's a system. If you have something that you can point to, that you say, this is what we do, just like Leo said, he said, tell me what I got to do. And then Leo said, here's what you got to do. Leo's got a system. He knows exactly what to tell him. And now this guy is going to know what to point to, just like Leo pointed to it. Okay. A system, because only a system can be duplicated. People and personalities can't. So what do we have in Niken that resembles a system that you can leverage and rely on today, that you can say, this is what we do. This is how you get started. This is what we do. Well, one of the things that I'm trying to help you cultivate and embrace as a system is the idea of good, better, best. You want to do this as a business? There's three things we invest: time, money, contacts. Number one, time. It's going to take 10 to 15 hours a week for you to contact and invite 3 to 5 people a day for the next 30 to 50 days. We'll get to that last. It's going to take some money in terms of an investment in your products for you to gain the altitude and understanding of what it is you're marketing. The conviction, the belief, the experience, the nuances of knowing the business and the product line of the business. So it's not about what, you should have all the products. At the end of the day, that's the objective of Niken Consultants, is to have a Niken Wellness Home and to promote Niken Wellness Homes around the world. And what is a Niken Wellness Home? It's a home that embraces Niken technology, all of it, not some of it. So the question is not what product should I get, but what should I start with? We got a few options. I recommend good, better, best. Which one do you want to hear about? That's what I ask. And they usually say, well, tell me about the best. And you work with that. What would be the best? Now, if I had nothing to share with you guys, but the question, and I asked each of you, tell me, what's your list of the best? If you were going to start Niken knowing what you know today, and you were going to start with the best possible start you could give yourself, what products would it be comprised of, that order? I'll bet you're going to say the waterfall. You're going to say the sleep system. You're going to point to some of the nutritional products that you absolutely have to have, and so forth. There's going to be a repertoire of products that you're going to say, like, if I had to do this all over again and I had to start knowing what I know now all over again, what would I do? Bang, that's what I would do. Well, that's conviction. That's experience. That's understanding. And you need to leverage that. You need to actually do what Leo does. Point to your experience, point to your understanding, say, if I had to do this all over again, this is what I would do. If I were you, this is what I recommend. And so good, better, best. Don't be surprised if you start getting people in with 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 points, because it actually is the sensible thing to do. And that they don't even have 2 of anything. So it's not like you're inventorying anything. They don't have 2 of anything with 1,500 points or 2,000 points. So you're really doing them a disservice if you don't explain to them this simple idea. Let me help you explain that to them. Get them on the Thursday night call. Good, better, best. All right. So a system. How about contacts? How many contacts is the right number? Well, the goal is to find 3 partners lickety split because our compensation plan is based on that. So how fast do you want to find your partners? How about yesterday? So our list, our contact list, is where it begins. It doesn't end there, but it certainly begins there. And the more people you have in your contact list, the more likely you're going to find those 3 diamonds in the rough. And our experience tells us that it's a certain percentage of the number of people that you introduce this to. So let's start with 100 and go from there. And we'll get back to that question earlier on with respect to how do I beef up my contact list. That'll be the last thing I talk about here tonight. If I forget, please jump in. Whoever it was that came out, area code 301. I sorry I didn't catch your name again. We'll catch you at the end.
Pat Gormley, Mike.
Pat.
I'm the 301.
Perfect. All right, Pat.
Yeah.
So I'll get back to you on that because that's real important. A lot of people here on this call, they're in the same boat. Okay, so the contact list. So time, money, contacts. Those are the 3 ingredients for them to start their Nikan experience, their Nikan business, without which there is no business. There's no prospect of having a business. So what else can you point to as a system? Well, here's something you can point to because they're going to want training, right? They're going to want training. What is the most important element of training in this business? What is of the 3 conversations of the process, the why, the how, the what? What do you think is actually the most important conversation of those 3? I know everybody's on the why. The first conversation, because it's the one that leads to all the other conversations. If a person has a reason to go through the process, they will. But if they don't have a reason, you can't push them through the process. So the first conversation, the why, identifying their reason, is the most important. And of course, the first call for somebody brand spanking new is the most difficult. So we have a challenge here. We have the most important thing that has to happen in the hands of the newest person who's terrified of the most important thing that has to happen, and they feel like they have the least amount of ability to actually accomplish it. This is a challenge of all challenges, because once you have an interested prospect, learning about Nikan is easy. They're going to want to know more. You're going to send them what they want to know. They're asking for it. You're introducing them to other people because they want to know more. But how do you get to that point? It's the first contact. So the biggest challenge, I think, can be overcome with a little bit of understanding. And the understanding I point to in today's version of Nikan. Previously, I would have pointed to my contact and invite audio that's on YouTube as the single best contact and invite audio in the Nikan and in the network marketing world, period. And I say that with 100% conviction because it was actually field tested by a third-party entity with an 85% closing rate. Okay? So I would now defer to my daughter's contact and invite training. I think she took it to a whole new level. It's so thorough that every time I listen to it, I'm like, that's brilliant. That's genius. This girl really understood this thing. So I would suggest you make sure that in your arsenal of tools, ready to boom, send to somebody real lickety quick, have it somewhere, have the link for contact and invite training. And you'll find it under Sovereign Life. I believe that's the website, or the YouTube channel that's on. So contact and invite training.
It's Sovereign Life Team.
Sovereign Life Team.
Today.
Thank you, Jean. Sovereign Life Team. Okay, so make sure that tool's in your arsenal. Now, if you have not listened to it or studied it, honestly, it's a study tape. This is not just a listen to. You want to study this thing. Because if the first step is the most important step, which leads to all the other steps, then isn't that the one you want to master? Yeah. And your mastery of it will ensure that you're going to have people interested in the other steps and learning more about Nikan. You're teaching people this, saying, hey, this is your first education. Here's lesson 1. Make sure you study this, because I want you, when you reach out to somebody, I want you to know who you're reaching out to and how you're going to reach out to them. And I want you to feel really, really comfortable and confident doing it. And now remember, right now you're saying that to somebody and they're thinking, confident, comfortable? Are you kidding? I'm the absolute opposite of confident and comfortable. But when they get through that audio, they're going to go like, oh, that's so easy. I can definitely do that. I can call my best friend and do that. I can call so-and-so, because it puts the words in their mouth. Natural words that are natural to them, a process that is natural to them. They'll be able to talk to any one particular person specific to that individual, because it's kind of a formula for how do I reach out to somebody. Anyway, without having to say more about that, that's an absolute tool in your arsenal to help somebody overcome the biggest hurdle in the business, and that's contacting, inviting people into the information process. Now, what other tool do I have to help somebody get started? Well, I mentioned it at the beginning. We now have in Niken's back office, when you log in, there's a training portal. You can find it either on the left-hand tab, which was, by the way, added today. That's how recent that was added, because it was an oversight and they quickly got the feedback and boom, they put it within the same day. So you can find the training portal on the left-hand tab, or you can find it in the bottom right-hand corner in a block, and you can see we start and so forth. Click on it. If you haven't done it, do it. Take the courses yourself. The training that's in there was by design and designed by Niken field leaders. So it's not impractical. It's in fact very practical. And it's like a checklist of do this, do this, do this. Let's rehearse this. Let's practice this. Let's understand this. Let's watch this video. So why is that important? Because if you're going to hold everybody's hand to educate them, you're going to be at this a long time. Let people educate themselves, but at least give them the tool. Make sure they know where to find that information and that they're actually locked into it. Because then that frees your time with them to do what? What's the most important thing you could be doing with a new business partner? Meeting their contacts. That's how you want to invest your time. The best time in the world for Mike DiMuccio is when I'm not on the phone with distributors, when I'm on the phone with distributors' prospects. That is the most productive time for me, because then my time is to impart to somebody new. And that's what you want. You don't want to be just having conversations with people on your team. You want it to be productive time, and productive time, the only productive time there is when you're in front of somebody new. Everything else is just training time, sympathy time, or, whatever, mishmash time. But real productive time is when they're putting somebody in front of you. Okay. So you've got a few things right now that is a system you can point to get somebody started. By the way, where do you get these tools? Where do you get these beautiful tools? The $1 Million List and so forth that we talk about. Okay. I'll tell you where you get them. lifeinbalance.net. I just got another order of French and English in these because I go through these. These are the presentation materials that I point to in a coffee shop meeting that pretty much are the same things that we talk about, that you hear me talk about, or some of the other leaders talk about when we present Niken. They have images and so forth. And the importance of images is we think in pictures. People look at a compensation plan and they're just, their eyes glaze over. But if you can show how that compensation plan comes to life, let me show you how we get paid. We get paid down through 6 generations of our team and their customers. It's a simple visual. So it shows people visually. So images are really important to communicate ideas. That's why I have these things. I still believe in presentation booklets and materials. Then I can send them home with this. But guess what the first page is? The thing that starts it all. Their why. So take out a pen, bring out a marker, get a red marker, bring that to your meeting and have them circle the 2 words on this page that means the most to them, because you're going to send them home with them. But what's going to be in their face is the 2 things that matter to them most right now, the 2 areas of life that they want to improve most. So you're sending them home with their why in front of them, with the instruction to review NICAN. And so their why and the instruction to review NICAN. So there's part of a system for you right there. What about when they say, well, can you send me a link? Can you, what can you share with me? What are you doing? What's your system of sharing information? How do they learn about NICAN short of meeting with you and you talking your face off? But if you're brand spanking new in NICAN, you're stuck. What do you send them? Where do you find it? Well, again, it's an acquired experience. It's an acquired taste. Well, we don't have time to acquire that before we go talking to anybody. We need to get talking to people right away. So what are some things, what are some tools that we have in our arsenal right now, right this very second, that you can point to that is a way for somebody to learn about NICAN? One is a life or a better way. So theroyalalliance.com/a-better-way, or just send them to sovereignlife.me. Those are both identical pages. Okay. And what's on that page is stuff about NICAN that you want them to know about. If they're going to be at all interested in NICAN, these are things you want them to know about. So go and look at it, see what's there, and say, hey, I want you to watch this and listen to that. Have them do at least 2 things. What I usually say is listen to the first 2, watch the first 2 videos. If you like what you see, keep going. That's a really simple way of saying, yeah, there's a lot of information there, but I don't need you to go through it all. But if you want to, be my guest and go for it. I just want you to go through the first 2. And if you like what you see, keep going. So that way they don't feel overwhelmed. They don't feel inundated. They just feel, oh, okay, that's good. There's information here that I can dig into. You want to control that. You don't want them going online and start doing Google searches for NICAN, landing on somebody else's homepage or whatever. You control the flow of information. So send them that link. Here's another thing that I like to send people, especially in that first conversation, by the way. I'll do it either live when I'm with them, or I'll send it to them to get the conversation started. Pat, this is where that's going to come in for you in a minute. Is the video. How many of you have seen the video of the energy test that I do with my daughter? The balance test. What do we call it? We don't call it the balance test. We call it the strength test. Take the strength test. So that video has garnered 40,000 views on TikTok already, and 5,000 views on YouTube. Now, I didn't do it for people to contact me. That's not why I did this video. I did this video for you to send to people as a tool, because that tool is going to get people's attention. It really does. How many of you have noticed it gets people's attention? I'm curious, what kind of reactions? Let's just take 2 seconds here for some feedback. What kind of reactions are you getting from somebody who watches that video? I'm curious. Has anybody gotten a reaction that's sort of vivid in your mind? Go ahead, jump.
Karen has her hand up, but
Go ahead, Karen. You're
Well,
unmuted, Karen.
Oh.
Go ahead.
All right, thank you. So I sent it to one of my customers. He just used a waterfall for a number of years. Before that, it was the Aquaport. He upgraded during COVID. Anyway, he texted me back. I actually texted him and I said, did you get a chance to watch the video? He likes to text, so I just go along with it. And he said, how did that happen? How does it do that? And so I got back to him, and I don't remember what I said offhand, but within a matter of days, I ran into him at our co-op, which is a small place. I didn't even see him. He saw me. And I have power bands all over me. And so the thought occurred to me, show him right here. So I did. And his mouth dropped. He was just, and he works with crystals. And so he knows the power of energy. Okay. But so I'm going to continue the conversation with him and build the relationship. And but his reaction was absolutely priceless. How did it do that? How did that happen?
Just like that big tall guy on the video, when he fell over like nothing, he was like, whoa. His girlfriend was surprised. So yeah, exactly. It gets their attention. Catherine, I'm sorry.
I do the strength test on them first, and then I send the video as a follow-up, because it gets their attention and they're going, wow. And then they can show their friends, this is what I did. And that seems to be making a positive difference.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Again, guys, it's the easiest thing to do to share. By the way, when you share it with somebody in a text, tell them, hey, it's only 46 seconds. It's going to blow your mind. 46 seconds to blow your mind. And then I want to talk to you. I'm sending this to you to check out because I want to talk to you about it. So the idea here is short, sweet, punchy, wow. It's got a wow factor. And believe me, you need that in this day and age to get people's attention, to get people's blood, their pulse going, their heart rate going, a little bit of excitement, because now all of a sudden you got something, it slices, it dices, and man, does this thing deliver. So that matters in this world of shiny, new, and whatever. It's a way to get attention, and we absolutely need that. So definitely make a point of sending it to everyone, even everybody that's on your list, that's in your downline. Send it to everybody. The goal here is to inspire, to reignite, and to help remind people who've known about NICAN how special this is, and to give them a tool. You've not just empowered them to do just what you're saying, Catherine. They now have something they can show their friends. And with the NICAN Share app, you can send people the product. You can send people a power band. So you can send them the video, get the reaction, say, I'm going to send you the power band. You try it. So now for long distance sponsoring, it makes it possible for us to bridge that gap of how do I get a product demo going if somebody's living in another state or another city? How do I have that happen? Because it's such a vital part of our process. And so now we have a tool that inspires the curiosity. You can fire them out one of those products and say, here, follow the video, do this with your friends and family. And it blows their minds, because I've done this and it works. Yes, Dr. Karen.
Norma's unmuted. Norma, did you want to say something first?
Yes, I didn't know where my hand was. Second, just real quick one. I did it with someone that had a power band on. I didn't know that it would still work. And I was kind of reluctant to do it because I thought, well, maybe if they're already wearing magnets, it wouldn't be productive, but it does. Even if you put one on top of their already power band around their necklace, it works. So I thought that was awesome.
The neck is powerful because that's the conduit of all the nervous system, goes right through the neck. So yeah, awesome.
But they were wearing one and I put a second one on and it was awesome.
Well, okay. So one is good, two is better. Is that what you're saying? All right. So we're going to sell twice as many now. Fantastic. Awesome. Dr. Karen.
Okay. So I work remotely with a lot of people. And I've been doing just what you suggested, Mike, is I contact somebody and I send them the power band. These are customers that I'm working with right now. And it opened up conversations. I found out her son is having some major challenges in life. And so she bought a fit, she bought a Makura pillow for herself, a power band for her son, and she bought Jade Green Zymes for her and the dog. So it's in the pipeline, it's moving forward. Okay, so it works beautifully. The other thing that I wanted to mention about it is it also cuts down on the time we expend with people
Mm-hmm.
when we contact them. Because those people, you know, like the young man I was telling you about at the co-op, okay, he's a good person to keep in the pipeline. Somebody else who goes, yeah, that was interesting. You know, that's going to be more of a time factor for you.
Right.
And you can make that decision if that's where you want to spend your time. So I'm finding it very helpful that way.
Oh, fantastic. So it's a pre-qualifier to help you decide who to invest the time in. Brilliant.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Guys, this video is all that and more. It really is an icebreaker. And that's one of the key factors, Pat, that you need something new to tell anybody. So you've got a contact list, you've got 100 names list, you've got people that you've talked to already, and you're wondering, how do I go back to them and talk to them about anything? Because they're going to see me coming and they're going to think, oh, it's that again. Well, first and foremost, two things. You can always reach out to somebody and say, yeah, I'm still here and I'm actually reaching. I know this is not for you. We've already discussed it. I'm ruling that out, but you know people. So I'm asking for your help. I'm not looking for just people. I'm looking for someone specifically. And then define it. Describe the type of person you're looking for to introduce this to. You can tell them Niken's launched a new compensation that is doubling people's pay. It's never been done before, ever. And it's super, super exciting. And they're launching a new marketing strategy. Actually, let me send it to you. It's 46 seconds long. Watch this. It's an absolute hoot. See, Pat, now I can get somebody I've talked to about this indirectly curious, not because I'm calling them to talk to them, but they may know someone. And so I'm arming them with reasons why they may lead me to someone, and they themselves might get re-inspired because of what I'm sharing with them. And so you can take a list of 100 duds and turn it into 100 studs if you go about this correctly and just asking the right question. You're just looking for one person. So start describing to that person on the phone what type of person you're looking for. Somebody who's focused on making a difference, somebody who loves to help people, somebody who's hungry and wants to make more out of their life. I mean, when you start describing that somebody to the person who you've said, this is not for you, what do you think they're going to be thinking? Hell no, this is for me. Yes, it is. Excuse me. So Pat, try that. I think that might really help, especially if you stay true to the core. Like, really don't do it as a way to manipulate them in. Definitely do it as a reason for them to be compelled to share a name with you. But if you find them getting excited in the aftermath of that, don't be surprised either. So that's that. So you're asking for help. That's the key ingredient. I'm calling for your help. I know this is not for you. We've already gone through that, but I'm going on right now on a tear because there's something real special that's just happened, and I'm so excited about it. And I'm really, really committed to finding my next partner, my next teammate, and then describe why you're excited. And so that's very, very indirect. Now, I said there's two things that we need. We need a system, and we've been talking about a system to get people, you know, to learn about Niken. I wanted to add one more thing to the system. So, you know, there's other ways they can learn about Niken above and beyond the web link and the video. You can invite them to a live meeting. There's the Niken Connect. Make sure you have a copy of the Niken Connect. It's all the live meetings that we do on Zoom. And some of those are product oriented, some of them are business oriented. If you are registered to be in the 18 Karat Gold Accelerator team, that means you are in launch mode if you have a 100 names list, or you have just sponsored somebody or about to sponsor somebody in launch mode who will come to the party with 100 names. Just like Jeannie invited, I'm sorry, my mind just went blank. I'm thinking
Sharon.
Sonia, but it's not Sonia.
Sharon.
Sharon, thank you, Sharon. Jeannie invited Sharon to the call, and she got what she needed to get from that call. So that's the Thursday night call. That's part of the accelerator team call. And starting this Saturday, we're going to have the training. So the first training will take place. So people who, you don't invite people to a training who haven't been through the process. The reason why we do this process as a process and in order is so that you learn how to do this business. When you make a recipe for a cake, you don't do things out of order. You follow the instructions one step at a time. When you're inviting people to learn about Nikken in the right way so that they become real partners for you, you have to learn how to do it in the right way. So this process has been created in order to create a process that's orderly, that layers information. So don't invite somebody to an event that they haven't had the previous information. Don't bring them to a what conversation if they haven't had the why conversation. Don't bring them to, don't bring them to a how conversation if they haven't had the why conversation. Definitely don't bring them to the what conversation if they don't even know what Nikken's about. So it's important that you follow the process, why, how, and what, in that order, and the meetings and the content of information. That's a system. Okay. Pat, did you have a question?
I'm doing that with Paul right now. We did an ABC with somebody last week.
Awesome.
And we did the we're at the why right now, so we got to go. We have to go through we have still got to go through the why process, then the how, then the what. Correct. So
yeah.
So
and by the way, don't ever hesitate to go back to the why. You know, you follow up with somebody. Oh yeah, no, I really didn't get a chance to blah blah blah. Hey, you can say, hey, Pat, listen, when we spoke last, you gave me a pretty compelling reason why you would be interested in looking at something like this. Remind them of their why, because that's the reason why they're going to look at anything. Go ahead, Pat.
Right. Well, I am basically letting Paul do I'm sort of the B part of the process at this point. And
perfect.
What I'm doing is I'm letting Paul lead, and then we're working through some technology issues at the moment, but we're working on a my prospect is very, very old school. She doesn't have a computer. She has a smartphone, but I don't think she understands the power of the technology that she has. But we're sort of working through that process too.
Okay, good. Keep working with Paul. Paul's a good sponsor, and he's.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Good.
Well, and I might even, and his wife Mary Ellen can be even more convincing than Paul, because Mary Ellen is really starting to take off, and it's, she has that personal touch, woman's touch.
She's on the line and she's hearing what you're saying. I'm sure she's agreeing. We are.
Yeah, well, I've known Mary Ellen for years, and she just has this sweet nature that just sort of you don't even know you're being gently guided, if you will, if you know what I'm talking about.
Hey, listen, that's a great word, by the way. The process, what I'm talking about, is really you're guiding people through information so that they can acquire enough understanding to make a decision about whether or not there's a fit for them with Nikken. That's really all we are. We're guides. We're just guiding people through a process. We're, the first thing is to give them a reason, but then once they got the reason, we guide them. Yeah. Hey, listen, I've got a bit more information I got to get through.
Thank you.
I've got a bit more information I got to get through before this call's up. So if you don't mind, I need to jump on.
I'm muting.
All right. Thank you. Okay, guys, last thing. 2 things I said absolutely have to be in place for this to grow. Absolutely has to happen this way, or the business won't grow. You have to have a system, because systems can be learned, followed, taught, duplicated. That's how you attract people. But if you don't keep them in the business long enough to attract others, That's called attrition. They leave. If they leave before they have a chance to replace themselves, think about it as life. If you're a parent and you don't have children before it's too late to have children, well, you're going to die without prodigy. The line ends there. But if you have kids and then you show them how to have, well, you don't actually show them, but you give them the environment, the right space and upbringing, that they have their own kids. Now what you have is you have a growing family tree. And hopefully, you don't just replace yourself. You have maybe 2 or 3, and then they have 2 or 3, and then they have 2 or 3. And now what you have is an expanding genealogy of your family. That is a prosperity and a prosperous way of looking at it. And so in this business, what makes a family a family? What makes a family grow? It's being together. It's loving together. It's playing together. I mean, really, think about this as an exercise in family, because it really is. What makes a family grow and strengthens a family is the family relationships and the time that families spend together on vacations, on special occasions, or, maybe the weekly dinners or the weekly church or whatever it is that you are doing on a daily, weekly, quarterly, monthly basis that keeps the family a family. Like right now in the States, you guys got Thanksgiving coming up. That's a very, very, very big event for family that keeps the family feeling like a family. So if we don't have that element in our network marketing business, our business will fail. We will never get to a point where we have a downline. We will always be recreating. We sponsor somebody, a month later, they're gone. Sponsor another person, a month later, they're gone. Sponsor another person, 2 months later, they're gone. And you're just constantly in this churning wheel of sponsoring people, but they're not sticking around long enough because number one, you didn't have a system to show them how to teach, how to do this business. And number two, you didn't give them an environment that feels friendly and fun and informative and valuable and appreciative and so forth. So we need community. Our business thrives when there's a thriving community, which means we need to recreate community in Nikken where we've lost it. Many cities in Nikken and North America don't have a single representative or a single meeting. Can you imagine a Nikken business, Nikken, if you were the owner of Nikken, if you were the one who owns the rights to Nikken and you knew that 40 states in the United States had no representation, you'd be like, what the heck? We need to get to work. We need to find somebody in those states. This is what's compelled us to do the mining for diamonds. We want to find a new diamond, help create, identify a new diamond, work with somebody to become a new diamond in every state and province in the marketplace because there's no representation. We need more representation. And what you want is for...
I don't think that may be the only one in Maryland, I think.
Well, there you go.
I don't know about it.
There you go. So honestly, I don't know either, to be quite honest. And that says a lot because I'm pretty much somebody who's plugged in. So if we don't have that representation, well, we need that representation and you want that representation in your downline. So start helping us find those diamonds in the rough. And so let me get back to the point here. System and community. Those are the two key factors in allowing a business to grow and replicate. If you don't have that, it doesn't work. You can't have one without the other. You need both. How do we create community in Nikken? So for shortness of time, I'm just going to give you what I've got to give you. We meet. It's when we get together. So when are there opportunities for us to create community? Number one, the most significant is when we're physically together. So when we meet at a coffee shop, when we meet at a hotel, if we have a regularly scheduled wellness preview or training or prospecting event or breakfast event or breakfast train, anything that you can do once a week in your local environment is going to have more impact than pretty much anything else you've got going. The physical interaction, it's the top of the charts. It's the thing that has the greatest impact on creating community, number one. So if you haven't got one, look to start creating one. Imagine, what day do I want to have this going by? I need to Now that means you're going to have to find some teammates to make that a reality. See, now you have a reason to find teammates. Over and above a business, you need teammates just to have an event. So number one, that live event, at least once a week, no less than once a month, but definitely once a week. Can you imagine if the church didn't have mass every week? Would there even be a church today? I doubt it. So it works. Number one. Number two way that we create community is any event that we have online. When we get together online, that's an event that creates a sense of community. And so make sure that everybody is aware of the Niken Connect, the calendar of events where there's opportunities for you to meet with other Niken consultants, prospects to meet with other consultants online. Those are live events. Number three, the Niken Seikokai and Master Day. Those are monthly events. Again, it's an online event. It's a bigger event. It showcases people from all walks of life in Niken across boards and has some great stories to tell and features to share. That's a community event that creates and establishes the identity that we actually have a community. Number four, there are a number of ways of plugging into Niken corporately. So there's the Facebook page as a consultant, the Niken Facebook page that you can join. And I'm not talking about the commercial page. I'm talking about the business page for consultants. You can join the group, the Niken North American Business Group. You can join all their social media connections. So Instagram, which gives you all their cool videos that they've got coming out like almost every day now. They've got these new videos coming out. So you can share videos and start sharing with people, hey, I'm involved in something and it's pretty cool. They have the Telegram page. They have I'm not sure if I'm missing, but there's a link right now called Linktree. If you don't know it, ask your sponsor eventually, or ask the chat in the core consultant chat, and we can get you the Linktree, and you can join all those things because now you're getting the feed and the interaction, and so if it's for you, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. This is now part of your system. Part of your system is to say, hey, new distributor, one of the things that we have in our system, and one of the things that we have as a benefactor of this business is community. And here's how we plug into the community. There is another community that they need to be plugged into, you need to be plugged into, and that is
Humans being more.
your brethren.
Humans being more.
Well, yeah, Humans Being More is an event and live events as well. But as far as the Niken culture, the family of Niken, the Niken consultants, the core consultant chat on WhatsApp, that's a live interactive chat that makes people feel they're connected to a community. That's really important. This call is, for instance, one of the calls on the Niken Connect. And so it gives people a sense that there's something happening in the world of Niken that involves many people of like mind, and that gives them a sense of belonging, which fulfills one of the hierarchy of needs in their hierarchy of needs, in their Maslow's law of needs, the feeling of belonging. And so community creates belonging, and that's when they start to feel connected to who we are, what we're about, and that gives them the horsepower to stay active and to acquire the skills that eventually they'll turn into production and results, and then it'll build on that. You got to keep them in close to the fire, guys. Otherwise they get cold and they get stone cold and then they just disappear. And the fire is us. We're the fire. We're the excitement. We're the vitality of Niken. We are Niken. And so it's really important that they get to experience more of us, and the better we can make that happen. So get them to meet your sponsor, get them to meet your upline, plug them into all the connections, and that way they are not ever alone. And you encourage them to stay plugged in and be plugged in and have a voice, because once they start to have a voice, by the way, the first thing you could do, the very, very first thing you could do is introduce them to 2 or 3 levels of your upline. That personal call takes the pressure off of you to have to be there 24/7 to hold their hand and babysit them. Now they have a connection to other people. So it's no longer about you. You've now invited them to meet the family. And then you meet the, you know, the in-laws, and then you meet the neighborhood, and then you meet, you know what I'm saying? That's how you do it. This is what creates community, and this is what creates the fire and keeps people close to the fire so that they can acquire the excitement, the knowledge, and the ability to then invite others. And we grow the fire. So system and community, the two key factors in growing an organization. And if you want to grow a thriving business, you want to grow an organization. The business follows. Because have you noticed that everybody here on this call is a customer of Niken? I bet you pretty much everybody on this call has at least 5 or 6 of Niken's key products. So if we build the community, the business follows. The product's use follows. The enthusiasm follows. The testimonies follow. So that's what I had to share with you tonight. System and community is what guarantees thriving, growing, prosperous business. Okay, folks, I know I've gone over time by 8 minutes. So thanks everybody for joining, and see you next week.
Thank you, Mike.
Night, night.
Thank you.